Welcome to the National Museum of Ireland Country Life. My name is Rosa Meehan. I'm one of the curators here. In this video we're going to look at the Irish Folklife collection. We'll take a look at the furniture collection with a particular focus on chairs. We'll think about the craftsmanship, the styles, the design, the making. The chairs on display have been collected over the last 100 years by other previous curators. Let's step inside and have a look. The Irish Folklife collection is home to thousands of objects that allow us to rediscover life in Ireland in the past. Throughout this gallery, you will find objects that tell us about traditional life in Ireland, with the focus on 1850 to 1950. The items of furniture like chairs, tables and settlebeds were not found in every house. Some houses had very little furniture at all, while others had a large range of furniture, including large pieces like presses or dressers. These functional domestic pieces are sometimes called vernacular furniture. Others may call them traditional furniture. But whatever the name, they were usually made in the local area where they were used. Some were made by a member of the household, and others were made by specialist carpenters. They were all handmade, often of local or imported pine, and sometimes reusing materials such as wooden boxes. But particularly from the 1960s, we saw a huge change in the furniture found in people's homes. Mass or factory-produced furniture replaced the older style, handmade furniture. In many homes, furniture of formica or chipboard replaced solid wood pieces, and handcraft furniture became the reserve of the more well-to-do or wealthy. Chairs found in traditional Irish homes were not only made of wood, they were also made of materials such as sugan, which can be described as rope made from twisted or plaited straw. For example, the straw chair suits the shape of the sitter, giving ample support, but it is not very long-lasting as it can attract pests and is also more easily worn. It was also a fire hazard when you consider how important the hearth was in the traditional Irish home, where chairs would be drawn up beside the hearth. Here you will see two identical armchairs from the Tuam area in County Galway. Made from ash, this chair features an attractive grain pattern that is mellowed to a warm, pale golden colour. They have interesting designs where the front board of the seat joins the armrest supports. And this is a chair made by Thomas Durkin. Tom was a cooper, a carpenter and a shanky, or a storyteller. He was from near Tourmacady in County Mayo. Tom worked at shipbuilding in Scotland in the second half of the 19th century before he returned home to Mayo. His chair is heavier and larger than many others in the National Museum. It is made from ash and oak. T. Durkin is stamped on many places on the chair. It was made using a steel punch Tom had used in his shipbuilding days. Different classes of trees were identified in ancient Ireland. The oak tree was considered king of the forest. Durkin drew on this tradition when he described his chair as being made from the 7 woods of the cross to Colm O'Loughlin, who published their conversation in a religious journal article in 1964. Let's take a closer look at the vernacular furniture and what it may tell us. So who would have typically constructed the chairs within these past communities?
It would have been a skilled carpenter that made this chair, and this chair came from Drummond County Monaghan. This chair would have dated to the 1900s, made from pine wood. The finish on it was maybe to make it look like a mahogany chair, a little bit more fancy maybe, but I quite like the design of the chair as well. You know, the little bit of the board back on it and the little bit of detail there on it here. And as you can see as well, it looks like there was, you know, that there was inlay on it, like, but that was the finish that was put on it. This particular chair would be known as a hedged chair, made from wood sourced locally in the forest. There's a lot of skill in making a chair like that. The spindles there on the back of it, like, they're all hand made, and sometimes I'd say by hand, maybe chisels. You certainly would be talking probably maybe a day and a half to make a chair like that. Looking at it, I wouldn't imagine there would have been glue used, because when the wedge went down into it, it spread it out, the leg, to the joint, to the hole that was there, and there was no need for glue, and that's what held it together. There has been quite a lot of them low to the ground, but I'm not quite sure. It may be wear as well. That's what I would firmly believe, that it's more the age of the chair that has wore on the ground over the years. And you can see how they're spread out, and that was to stop it maybe from falling over, so that it would be fairly durable as well on the ground. There would have been craft people, carpenters, and then there would have been the handymen. The handymen mightn't have as much of experience of maybe the carpenter, and that's probably the difference in some of the quality of the chairs as well. The weight bearing of the chair would be very important, mainly because of the weight of it and the way it's set on the ground, but that would be again down to the design. You'll never go hungry, say, when you make a chair. But I suppose there's two ways of looking at that. Like, is that, does that mean you sit on the chair to eat, or does it mean that for the making of the chair?
Many people have their own preferred chairs or seats, and some may have pieces of furniture that were given to them by previous generations. Each piece of furniture at the National Museum tells a story. Who was its maker? Why were the materials chosen? Where did they come from? What is the particular design? Do visit the National Museum and explore our wonderful collections. We will be delighted to welcome you.